Kayla, hi, this is Jim Delapine, and my voice may come in sounding like I'm in a tunnel, but this is the only way I can get my recording device to operate. So let me just give you an overview as far as how I achieved this here, okay? Um, I mean, it's simply a matter of bending certain items, and I'll show you how to do that, and then repositioning things and imagining what this could look like as a character. So that's why I bent the spatulas here to make it look like it's um, attached and into the layers of cake, and that's what I did with this piece of pepperoni too. And as far as making the mouth look open, that's another challenge in itself. It's simply a matter of taking this top layer here right up to the bottom of the red layer of the three-layer cake and copying it and pasting it above and then rotating it. So it's involved, and it's not worth getting into because you're not going to learn that much. So I think you'll learn more by doing other things. So let's bend this pepperoni, and let me show you how I did that. So if I go to, and this is a warp process. All right, so notice how it's masked out using the layer mask, okay? So if I go to Edit, Transform, Warp, which is the procedure you're going to go through with these elements here, okay? Edit, Transform, Warp. And once I select that, you get a bounding box around this. Now it goes around the outside of the outer part of this image here, which has a white background. So it's going to go to the white background edge, and then you can distort it from there. But that's not as accurate. So let me hit Enter to apply this, and then I will put a marquee around this, okay? And then go to Edit, Transform, Warp. Okay, so it's still not the correct way, and I'm going to show you why in a second here. So now what I can do is I can bend these pixels, okay, or warp them. Now notice there's dark areas here. These are handles that you can click and drag, okay? But notice what's happening. The mask is interacting with this, okay? So you have to kind of like compensate for that by applying the mask, okay? So no matter what I do, it's going to stay contained within the mask, okay? So let me just click this mark right here, which will not apply that warp. And what I'm going to do is I could unlink this, okay? So if I unlink it and then do that, then go here and try this, it's still going to stay contained within that mask. So basically that mask is protecting the background from being viewed. So what I'm going to do is deselect, is I'm going to right click on the thumbnail here and select Apply Layer Mask. So that will get rid of the layer mask and apply what you've masked out and give the illusion of well, it will delete all the pixels in the background, okay? So I'm going to apply it. There you go. So you can see by the thumbnail here. Let's see if I can do this. Let me see. Wait a second. What? Thumbnails here. Panel options. Panel options. We get a larger thumbnail here. Okay. Hit OK. Okay. So you can see here there's no layer mask now. Okay. So now what I'll do is this. I will take this and go to Edit, Transform, Warp, and now it puts a bounding box around the outside of those pixels. Okay, so I had paused the video here because I got a phone call that I had to take. So where was I at? So it looks like, so I have the bounding box around the slice of pepperoni, and notice how it's snapping to the edges of the pepperoni. It's because there's no background pixels around it here. So now what I can do is this. I'm going to zoom in first of all. A little shortcut is spacebar control, and no matter what tool you're in, you get access to the zoom tool. And I can click to zoom in. I think it's 10% of the time, I forget. Or I could have clicked and dragged to put a marquee around the area I wanted to zoom into. So it's always good to, be up and close and all that stuff. So what I'm going to do is pull, just to show you how this works, I'll pull this upper right bounding box down, and it starts to make a change, okay? You can see that. In addition to that, you have more control using these handles here. See these handles coming out? This is part of a process, for lack of a better word, called the Bezier curve. Okay, the Bezier curve is what is more commonly known in Illustrator. Okay, you get a Bezier curve when you work with the pen tool. So there's a pen tool in Photoshop and there's a pen tool in Illustrator. In Illustrator, it is the essential drawing tool. It's the most important drawing tool. In Photoshop, it's an extra. Okay, it's an extra tool that allows you to click and drag and create what's called the Bezier curve that has handles. So this allows you to customize it. So you can bend it and change it and do all this kind of stuff. So what I was doing was this. I just kept pulling these, and sometimes you can't predict. Sometimes you can. Of course, if you have a lot of experience working with this, you can predict it. Okay, so in this case, I just kind of like fooled around until I got what I liked. I am very familiar with the Bezier curve and how it works, but in Photoshop, it gets a little weird. All right, so let's just stick with that. So now it looks like it's a bent piece of pepperoni. Okay, so this is before. I just Control Z'd it, and then Control Z again after. Okay, and then what I did was this. I just put this here. So it looks like it's kind of like a piece of pepperoni coming out between the cake layers and kind of falling down. So what I'm going to do is create a layer mask for that layer by clicking on this. Now go to my paintbrush, make sure black is my foreground color, make sure that my paintbrush is at 100% hardness by clicking on the icon here and making sure the hardness says 100%. So that now when I paint on the layer mask with black, I'll be masking out this portion. Okay, if I zoom in again, so I have a certain size brush. To decrease the size of this brush, I'll just bring it down above the white area so you can see. I'm going to hit the left bracket key. Okay, so it's a little shortcut there. So what I'm going to do is click and drag along here, and I'm going to mask out this. Let's see, I'm going to have this fall on top of the cream. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe I'll have it fall below, so this way it'll be more apparent. Okay. So now what I'll do is I will go to, I'll swap my foreground and background colors by hitting the letter X. Okay, so white is the foreground color, and that will mask back in the image. So now I'm painting with white on the layer mask at all times, okay? And I'm trying to get this. So now the thing is, there's a texture here. It's just not a straight edge. So what I can do is this. Click on the paintbrush icon right here, and you have all kinds of, well, not here, but let's see. They change things around. So if I click here, you'll see all the brush settings and brush options here. I want to get a textured edge to my brush. So let's try the 60 pixel brush here. All right, and now this is the size. I want to drag away, but it has like a texture to it. The only problem is that, well, it's not a problem, but that's what you get. So I can click and drag and click, click, click. I can also get other textures in here. See this? There's spaces and there's, I mean, they're called different things. Each brush, like this is called a spatter KTW3, which I have no idea what that means. This is a sample brush. We should try this one. What I always try to do is, no, what I always do is simply experiment. You can't know everything and remember everything in this program. So I will decrease the brush size by hitting the left bracket key and just start to try to mimic where pepperoni is going to be underneath. Okay, so you see what I'm doing here. You can't just click and drag necessarily. I'm clicking, 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 and it's also somewhat transparent. So you may have to just stay in one place and just click, 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 click. Okay, until it fills in. Okay, kind of weird like that. So you can see I'm starting to get this semblance or feeling that it's now going underneath this layer of icing. All right, so let me just close out of this and hit Control minus, all right, or Control spacebar Alt gives you the same thing. Well, Control spacebar Alt gives you the subtract tool, okay, which means I can zoom back out, or Control 0 fits in the window. I hope I'm not talking too fast and throwing too many things at you, but essentially that's how I did that, okay? And the same thing with this spatula here, all right? If I bring this out here, I'm going to change this stacking order of the layers and bring it above. And then what I'll do is I will, whoops. Now the same thing with this. In order to bend this, what I'll do is, there's other ways to do this, but I'm going to right click on the layer mask and apply it. And then go to Edit, Transform, and Warp, and do the same exact process. So I'm going to try to bend this top area here. And you'll have to do some experimenting using the handles, basically that kind of thing, okay? All right, so listen, I'm going to stop there. I hope that helped. And why am I, okay. I hope that helped. All right, take care.